Hello, welcome back. In this video, we will discuss about component lifecycle in Angular. Whenever we want to create, update or remove the component in a DOM, the component lifecycle is managed by Angular. In process of this lifecycle, Angular creates the component, renders the components, creates and renders their child components as well, and Angular also checks when there is a change in input data bound properties of a component, and finally Angular destroys the components before removing them from the DOM. Angular offers lifecycle hooks that provide visibility into these lifecycle component movements of a component and gives us the ability to inject our code logic whenever they occur. Whenever we create a component, then Angular first calls its constructor, and then all the lifecycle hooks will be executed in this order. So first thing is ng on changes will be executed, and after that ng on init, and then ng do check, and then ng after content init, and then ng after content checked, and then ng after view init, and then ng after view checked, and finally before removing that component from the DOM, ng on destroy will be called. We will discuss about all these hooks one by one. Out of all these hooks, the most commonly used hooks are ng on changes and ng on init and ng on destroy. These are the most commonly used hooks. You can also use ng do check or any other lifecycle hook depending on your requirement. We will discuss about what is the purpose of each and every hook and when these hooks are called and how to inject our custom logic into these lifecycle hooks. So let's start with the first one, that is ng on changes. So ng on changes is the first lifecycle hook that will be executed after the constructor, and Angular calls ng on changes hook method whenever there is a change in the input properties of a component. So here we are calling home component from our app component.html, and we are passing the input parameter employees. So whenever there is a change in this employees input property, that is if we change the emp list in our app component.ts file, then ng on changes lifecycle hook method of home component will be executed. We can tap into ng changes lifecycle by implementing lifecycle hook interface in the Angular core library called onChanges. Similar to ng on changes, for each lifecycle hook we have different interfaces. If we want to change more lifecycle hooks, then we have to implement more than one interface. Now let's create a new component using Angular CLI. So let's go to command prompt, and as we want to create the component inside our app folder, we have to go inside of this app folder. So cd space src and then cd space app, and now to create the component in Angular CLI, the command is ng space g space c and then the component name, that is lifecycle. So once the component is created, then you must be seeing one folder called lifecycle, and inside this you must be having lifecycle component.ts file and HTML file and CSS file, and also one more file for your testing. Let's open this lifecycle component.ts file. So the selector is app-lifecycle, and I want to call this lifecycle component in my app component.html. So to do that, I have to use this selector just like HTML tag, and let me comment out this other code. Now let's create input tag in our app component. Now when I change the content in this text box, I want to pass the text box value to lifecycle component, and in lifecycle component I want to display the text that we have entered in this text box. To do that, first we need to have a binding variable in our app component.ts file for this input tag. So let's go to app component.ts file and create one variable called input text, which is a string, and then we have to bind this input text to this input tag using two-way binding, that is ng model is equal to input text. Now we want to pass this text box value to the lifecycle component, so let's create an input property in lifecycle component using input decorator. So let's go to lifecycle component, and here as we want to create input property, first let's start with input decorator. And let's keep a name as input value, and this will also be a string. And let's import this input decorator using control dot and then import this Angular core. Now we have an input property. To get the input value from app component.html, we have to bind this input property using a property binding. So input value is equal to, and we want to get this value from input text variable which is there in app component.ts file. So let's bind to this value. Now we are receiving the value from app component.html to our lifecycle component.ts file, and now all we have to do is we have to display this input value in our lifecycle component template. So let's do that. Let's create a h2 tag, and then using interpolation we will bind this input value, and let's save all the files and open the browser. So when we change this text, so we are getting this lifecycle component updated, because whenever we change the text value in app component.html, this is binded to this input text variable using this two-way data binding, and then this input text variable is binded to this input value of app lifecycle component, and that is the reason why whenever we are changing this input text, so that is being reflected in this lifecycle component using the interpolation. Here we are changing the input property of lifecycle component, but we are not seeing anything regarding ng on changes lifecycle hook. The reason is inside our lifecycle component.ts file we have not implemented the ng on changes lifecycle hook. As we have not implemented that lifecycle hook, Angular skips that, so that is the reason why we are not seeing anything. So to do that, we have to implement ng on changes lifecycle hook. So to do that, we have to implement one more interface, that is on changes. So if you see here, on init, by default it is giving whenever we are creating the lifecycle component using Angular CLI, because this is the mostly used lifecycle hook. That is the reason why by default Angular CLI is giving us this lifecycle hook. So now to implement this on changes, we have to import this interface, that is on changes interface, from Angular/core package, and then immediately you can see there is an error asking for ng on changes property is missing. So similar to this ng on init, we also have to implement ng on changes. Let's copy and do the same thing, and let's save it. Here ng on changes also receives a simple changes object. To receive that, we have to create a variable, and which is of type simple changes, and this is also part of Angular/core. So let's import that as well. And now inside our ng on changes, let's simply do a console messages. So let's log them as ng on changes, and similar to this I also want to console a message in constructor as well, so that we will know the order of execution. So here I am going to write constructor, and along with this thing I also want to console the simple changes object, which will have the current changes and the previous value, sorry, current value and also the previous value. So whenever we change this input property, so the simple changes object holds the previous value of this input property, that is nothing but input value, and also the current value of this particular input property. So to know that, let's also log this changes and let's save everything and open the browser. So here if you see the console, you can see the constructor as a first log message, and after that ng on changes, and after that we have a simple changes object. So if you expand this simple changes object, you can see the current value as undefined and previous value also as undefined. So here if you observe this execution order, the first thing which is being called is lifecycle component constructor. So whenever we are calling this lifecycle component in our app component, the first thing which is called is the constructor of our lifecycle component. So that is the reason why we could see the constructor at the top, and after that ng on changes has been executed. So let's go ahead and make some changes to this input and see what happens. So for the first time we are seeing current value as undefined and previous value as also undefined. The reason is, here for the first time input value, whenever we are binding, it is having undefined value because we have not entered anything in our text box. So let's go ahead and modify something. Let me just type one letter. So the moment I typed A, again I could see one more message, that is console log message called ng on changes. So whenever I am typing something, my ng on changes lifecycle hook has been executed. Earlier it was not executed because we have not implemented it, but now as we have implemented it, we could see these console messages. And if you see here, constructor is not executed again because the component has already created. That is the reason why constructor is not executed again and again. But ng on changes will keep on executing whenever there is a change in the input property. So now if we expand this simple changes object, you can see the current value as A and the previous value as undefined, whereas in the previous case the current value also undefined only. So if I go and type some more letter, I can see another log called ng on changes. So this is the third log message, ng on changes first one, ng on changes second one, ng on changes third one. So if I expand the third one, I can see the current value as AS and previous value as A. So ng on changes lifecycle hook helps us to track the input property changes. So right now we are just consoling the messages, rather we can show whether the content in the input tag is long or short. To do that, let's create another variable called content length, and inside our ng on changes, where we can track the input property changes, so we want to compare the length of this input property or the input value, and based on that we want to decide whether the string or the text entered is long or short. So for that, let's keep this logic, so where we are comparing the input value. So one more thing is, we can track these values by using changes, that is nothing but simple changes object, or else inside ng on changes we can directly access the input value. So here the input value will be the current value that has been updated in the text box. So we are comparing the length of this input value. If it is greater than 5, we are treating this as a long. If it is not, then we are treating this as a short. So let's quickly go ahead and bind this value in our template as well. So let me create another h2 tag and then bind this content length. So text length is, let's save the files and open the browser. So initially, as the text is not having anything, so this will go to the else loop, because we are checking if the input value is not undefined, should be not null or undefined. So then only it will come to this if loop, otherwise it will go to else. That is the reason why we are seeing initially the short. So let's type something. So the moment we reach more than 5, it has been changed to long. So this is one logic we have implemented in ng on changes, but depending on the requirement, we can implement whatever we wanted. So that's it about ng on changes. And one more thing is, like, whatever we are implementing on changes interface is not mandatory, because interface is only for this TypeScript purpose, but when our code converts to JavaScript, when we are rendering into the DOM, interfaces are not required. So this is absolutely optional, but we prefer to have this interface because it is a good practice. Now let's remove these interfaces and save the file and open the browser and see whether it is working fine or not. If you see here, we don't have any exception or errors in the console, and when we are typing the text, it is working absolutely fine. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.